Hey guys, Akil Stokes here. Welcome back to another episode of the Trading Coach Podcast. Today, we're going to talk about what it looks like to be a mature trader and really find your own path. It's a really cool topic and I'm super excited to share it with you. Before we get into it, if you haven't done so already, make sure you put it in your to-do list to check out our website, www.tier1trading.com. We have all types of free educational stuff over there. We got trial memberships, workshops, software, you name it, www.tier1trading.com. So I've spent a good amount of time today running through emails. I'm coming off of vacation, so I tried not to do a lot of work during vacation. Might have snuck on a few times, but I was really excited to see one titled Big Thanks, and it was from a familiar name, a trader that I worked with in the past who has been keeping me updated on his journey. And I love it when you guys do that. If you're someone that has worked with me in the past, whether it's one-on-one, whether it's on the Tier 1 platform, whether you're just a YouTube or Trading Coach podcast subscriber and you want to share your thoughts, your journey, your lessons, feel free to do so. I love reading them. Not only do they inspire me, they keep me motivated, but I like to share them with the group of traders that I work with because I'll tell you what, they hear from myself every day. They hear from Jason Greystone every day. I'm at the point right now where I like to think I'm still inspirational, but I'm not kind of like I'm not fresh out of like being horrible to being good. I've kind of been good and successful for a while, so my story gets kind of old. So being able to hear success stories from people that maybe you can relate to a little bit more, it means everything in trading, especially in a field where, let's be honest, like you probably have one friend or one person that actually knows what you do. It's kind of lonely out there. So it's always good to connect and hear these stories, these realistic stories. So I wanted to share it with you, not just because it's inspirational, but I think it really lays out what it looks like to become a mature trader, what it looks like to become a professional trader, because we go through stages in trading, and I'm not talking about the general 4 stages to unconscious, incompetent, stuff like that, but we go through these stages where we kind of change as a person. You know, many of us start off as like the reckless gambler, where I'm going into trading because I can make a lot of money really, really quickly. I'm going to be really, really good right away because I'm better than everyone else. And then we kind of go through the stage where it's like, man, this trading thing is kind of hard. I can't do it myself, but I'm going to search for this super secret strategy. And once I find this strategy, I'm going to make it. And we go through these different phases where people are telling us this is wrong, and we start believing it. And hopefully we end up on the right path and find the right person or right group to link up with eventually. Either you do or you fail. That's typically how it goes. But eventually you get to the point as a trader where you're very stubborn. You kind of have these reality checks along the way. You realize that a lot of the stuff that you used to believe in, that you used to hear, used to read, used to subscribe to is complete BS, and you're kind of locked into how you want to do things in a style of trading that fits what you believe in, a style of trading that fits your personality, a style of trading that fits whatever your future goals are, your lifestyle goals. And this trader has really touched on a few of those in his email. So he says, "Hey there, Akil. I want to thank you again for your contribution to my trading. Thanks especially for often talking about Fibonacci's. Fibonacci's, right? I'm not going to get into too much of a Fibonacci rant, but Fibonacci's are really, really, really cool in the real world, right? So if you get a chance, right, search Fibonacci, you'll see how they exist in these ratios, these magic ratios, right, exist in all aspects of our life, in reproduction patterns, in leaf petals, in distances, and body parts and stuff like that. It's really cool. And these same ratios exist in the market. But what's funny is Fibonacci's get kind of a bad rap, right? We're these voodoo black magic traders that are using these random numbers that don't make any sense. And people that are really against Fibonacci seem to be really against them. The funny thing is, right, these magic ratios, right, these golden ratios worked well before there was any type of Fibonacci tool, you know, just like advanced patterns in the same way. Advanced patterns existed in the market before we even knew what advanced patterns were. So, you know, that should tell you something right there. But he says, I was skeptical about them at first, since so many people were talking about them and bashing them. But you kept making reference to it and it piqued my curiosity. And that's when I went to learn about it. It's amazing. It was a game changer for me. I've since then customized my Fibonacci tool so that I can always see my entries, stops, and targets. I did a lot of back testing and have rules to govern entry, stops, and targets because of what I have learned. And again, this is part of the maturity of a trader because we're like little kids when we first get in, right? I know that whatever the internet told me, I believed. I remember that I once had a Facebook group, a public Facebook group, and I had to shut it down because there were a lot of new traders in there just looking for accountability partners, looking for community. And then there were these other traders in there, these forum traders, I guess you can call them, that were pumping in this false information, meaning they were putting stuff into this forum that was completely false. It wasn't true. It didn't work. And I'm not one usually to judge on stuff like that, but it was stuff that I was teaching. So I'm an expert in this specific strategy, and they were giving out the wrong rules. Now, I don't really care about that. People can say whatever they want. The problem was there was a flock of newer traders in there that were in that unconscious incompetence period of their trading where they don't know what's real or not. So, the more people that mention it, or if someone sounds authoritative or has a certain amount of stars next to their name, they simply believe it. And there were people doing some really bad things in the market, but didn't know any better. And what's cool about this is that, again, you're gonna get people that will do the same thing with good stuff. So you'll have something that actually works, but because people don't understand it or people don't use it, they'll poo-poo it and they'll make you feel bad. And part of becoming your own trader is telling those people to shut up, right? You don't literally have to tell them to shut up. You can if you want, nothing wrong with that. But basically locking in, becoming stubborn and saying, hey, this is what I believe in. This fits my personality. This fits my philosophy. I'm going to do the back testing, meaning the proper work to prove to myself that it works. And the cool thing is that once you have the numbers, and this is why data is so amazing. This is why backtesting is so amazing. Once you have the numbers, the figures, and the experience of doing all the backtesting that showed you that you're onto something, what you're doing does indeed work, you have 100% confidence in it. Maybe not 100% confidence. There's still like lack of confidence when you start live trading. But as far as like the actual strategy, you have 100% confidence in it. And once you get to that level, you just don't care at all what other people say because you realize that they're not experienced. They're not as experienced as you. It's the same thing. Like I was always told, one of the biggest fears out there is public speaking, right? Getting up in front of a crowd or a group of people and giving a presentation. And I used to be one that feared it. I used to kind of like nervously shake and wiggle and like all that, get stuck in the pattern all the time. And then I had a professor in college that told me, he said, I said, hey, what's the key to, becoming comfortable on stage and whatnot? And he said, just be the smartest person in the room. And not necessarily the smartest person in the room, but be the smartest person in the room about said subject. So as I grew up and as I went through courses or courses in school, and as I went on to obviously start the trading education business and give presentations in front of large groups, I felt 100% confident because I felt as if I were an expert, a master in this specific field. Now, something else, probably the dumbest person in the room, but when it comes to trading, I felt like an expert. I was 100% behind whatever it is I was talking about, and I had supreme confidence. And backtesting is the same way. And once you do that, you're going to start ignoring all of the naysayers out there. You'll no longer be influenced. So it's pretty cool to see that this trader has reached that level. And he says, because of what I have learned, I have minimized taking emotional trades. Or so emotional trades are trades where like you just got to get into something, or you fear of missing out, so you enter too early, or maybe you enter a little bit late because it's running away against you, right? Because he's done this testing, because he's sold on what he's supposed to be doing, he has minimized, not completely taken out. There's going to be some every once in a while, but he's minimized emotional trades or feeling bad when a trade proves to be unprofitable. So he no longer has that emotional attachment to a losing trade. He says, I am more focused on my record keeping. If I lose a trade, I look at it and think, oh, well, and then I update my spreadsheet. If I win a trade, I don't get as excited as before. He still gets a little bit excited, right? Not as excited. It's okay to get excited, right? It's you won some money. It's good. And more importantly, you execute the plan and you were rewarded for that. And it's good. You can be excited, but not super emotional excited. He says, I just tried to remember what Jason Grayson said, and try not to give back my winnings to the market. And basically what we say is that one of the biggest problems that traders have is not winning, it's giving it back. So everyone wins. The difference between consistently profitable traders and struggling traders, that struggling traders tend to give all or more of it back. Winning traders are really good at risk management, so holding on to their earnings. We still give some back, but not recklessly. It's all part of the plan. He says, with that being said, I wish to inform you that I have 2 trading accounts, and to date, both of them are in the positive as far as my ROI goes, return on investment. I've taken about a third of the trades that I took in the last months of 2021. It's funny, less trades, but more profit. I'm staying focused and keeping in touch with you guys. Great stuff. And the last point I want to make is what he said about taking less trades, because this is another kind of, I don't want to say myth, but there is a myth. There's a time and money myth, but this is another thing that many newer traders believe in when we come into the market. We have to trade all the time, right? The more I trade, the more money I'll make. But remember what I said about what most struggling traders do. Everyone wins. The difference between struggling traders and professional traders is that struggling traders give it back. So the more trades you take, the more money you're giving back. Either you're losing and then you're taking more trades trying to get revenge and you lose some more because you're doing reckless behavior, or you're winning and you're overconfident, so you want to win more and you take more trades and you end up giving it back and some, right? Either or, doesn't matter. It all ends in disaster. And what I've noticed in my trading career, and with most professional traders that I've talked to, or even most traders that have come through the platform to go on to get funded or become professional, at least with the professional mindset, is that they tend to trade less, right? And the reason they tend to trade less is because over time, after years of back testing and demo trading and live trading, all the repetition that they get in the market, they really start to understand their niche. They really lock on and say, boom, this is my strategy. This is what I'm supposed to trade. This makes me money. Because this makes me money, I don't need to do anything else. And by anything else, I don't mean continue to evolve. You should always kind of grow your strategy, make adjustments, add diversification and whatnot. But what I mean is they eliminate the dumb stuff. They eliminate the emotional trades. And what they do is they fine tune their strategy, where it's because they're doing a constant post-market analysis where they're reviewing their trades, they start to even find a better version of what they trade. So they're trading something specific and they say, hey, most of my losers come when this happens, or most of my losers come when this doesn't happen. Let's make this adjustment and add another filter where I only trade when this is present, or I only trade when this isn't present. And what it does is it cuts down on the frequency of their trade. Maybe it takes 10% of their trades away, but those 10% of the trades, the majority of them are the worst performing trades, right? So they're kind of trimming the fat. They're taking away the bad, and there's going to be some good in there. That's how filters work. You don't just eliminate all losers and keep all winners. But let's say you eliminate 10 trades a year, right? Maybe 8 of those trades or 7 of those trades are losers, 3 were winners. And that's a plus positive, or a net positive right there. So less is sometimes more, and you typically see people take that path. So I thought it was a cool email. I hope it is inspiring for you guys. And like I said in the beginning, if you have an inspirational story, and you don't have to have worked with me, you could have taken part in one of our free week-long workshops. You could have taken a trial membership on the platform and just hung out for 2 weeks. You can just be listening to the podcast, or you're a subscriber to the YouTube channel. If you're in any way involved with me and you have a success story, let me know. I love hearing about it because I love sharing it, because I think it's very inspirational for newer traders out there. And if you newer traders out there are anything like me, when I first started, I was lost and all alone and lacked confidence. And having someone that I can relate to, having someone tell me that, hey, this is what I learned, you can make it too. Well, that was the thing that got me to where I am now. Hope you enjoyed the episode. As I mentioned before, we got some pretty cool stuff on our website, www.tier1trading.com. Get over there, take some free webinars, sign up for a 14-day trial membership, download some software, interact with the community, better yourself as a trader for just $1. You get 14 days for $1. You can't beat that deal. All right, I'll see you over there, www.tier1trading.com.